conducted a national search. We handled a search committee, broadly representative of the campus as a whole. The committee worked very hard, met regularly, narrowed about 60 applicants down to a short list of 12, I think, for phone interviews. One of those 12 was not able to make a phone interview, so 11 were actually interviewed. They then came forward with 3 names to me. I always say in these searches that I have the right to add additional candidates to the pool, not only in athletic searches, exactly, we've hired people that way in the past. And then, when we were about ready to go down to the finalists and bring them in, we had a leak. And these are people with real lives and real families and people that count on them and count on their programs. So these are not trivial matters. And were we not able to assure confidentiality, we would not have been able to have Jim here. We would not have been able to have some of these other candidates. So we said, okay, we will reconstitute the search committee. Sally and I went out and met with those 3 candidates and Jim, interviewed all 4. Then had Jim do the same telephone interview that the other people had done, this time with a reconstituted search committee, asking exactly the same questions they asked of all the other candidates. Then Sal and I met with that committee. They recommended that Jim was our choice. I agreed.
Can you describe the reconstituted search committee who was involved in that?
It was made up of members of the first committee, some members of the first committee plus 1. Other questions?
The recent turnover in the position, how important has it been to find someone, stability, find someone here for the long haul?
Oh, we didn't care. It's been very important. This is such an important program. We've got people in this program that work so hard. In many ways, athletics is a labor of love. People devote huge amounts of time to it. Student athletes come eager to participate. So we didn't want the momentum that we've been developing in this program. So remember, what I said was we would work to identify a person by March 1. Obviously, we beat that schedule by a couple of weeks.
If confidentiality was the problem, and the people you were interviewing were not standing ADs already, such as he is, what's the problem? I mean, most people who are assistant ADs strive to become athletic directors at one time or another.
No, it's much more a problem for the sitting AD.
Right. So what was the problem with the leak in the first one?
That it revealed the candidacy of sitting ADs. And remember, we went into a committee and we all said, this is critical. Other people are putting their careers in our hands. We have an obligation to preserve that confidentiality. Jim Sterk is a gift to San Diego State and San Diego State athletics that we would not have if we could not have had confidentiality. As simple as that.
President Weber, was Mr. Sterk on the radar of First Committee, or was he solely your choice?
No, he was in fact recommended on the short list when we got down to 12 by the committee. And then he withdrew, and he withdrew precisely because he was concerned about confidentiality. And so we had to go back and get him back into the pool.
Do you have any details of the deal?
We've got an agreement in principle. So we're just trying to put the deal together now and finalize it, which is not going to take months. It's going to take a week or so. I don't know what, but something like that. And we'll release it when we get it done. I'm sorry, I can't see with these lights, so I don't mean to miss anybody.
Steve, how'd you like that basketball game last Saturday night, huh?
That was a beautiful moment, wasn't it? That was just great. People work so hard to produce moments like that. And I'm a fan of basketball, so I loved just the game. It was a great game. But what I particularly loved was we had, 3,000 or 4,000 students there having that wonderful experience that they're going to remember for a long time.
Would you consider a notable achievement to draw a sitting athletic director from a large Pac-10 school to come to San Diego State, and what that says about your university?
I do think it's a validation of the hard work that people have been putting in over the years. I'm really tired of being a sleeping giant. Really, But it's important to remember that just every year this program gets better and better and better. And you see it as our Directors' Cup standings increase, and now as our APRs have come around and come up. Brady's got a great new recruiting class coming in. It's building in the right direction. I expect you to have some questions.
When you asked him, I imagine one of your questions was why do you want to leave a Pac-10 school to come here? What was his answer?
Well, that's an inevitable question, but it's the question for every candidate, not just, it's why do you want to come to San Diego State? Because there are lots of bad reasons people have for coming to San Diego State. So we asked that of everybody. We asked it of Jim. And the thing that I remember most about that was he said he had already, before our position came open, sat down with his family and talked about the fact that if they were going to look at a move, now is probably the time. So they had decided that they would look. I also know from my conversations with Craig Thompson that we've been trying to get Jim into the Mountain West for years and been unsuccessful in doing it. So this is a good thing for a lot of us.